Just about got that one right. Got the old maroon machine here. There's an Ellipse Zero. This is the toe. This is the pivot point. For a brand new blade, you center it. Then after it's cut, what's going to happen is it's going to go through and move the lowest point to match the template, which is here, 20 millimeters. So on a brand new steel, the center is put up here, pivot point will be here. Then after it's cut, it's going to match this template, so it's going to be to this point. So if you put old steel that's already been cut to a profile back in here, that's why you bias it up by the 20 millimeters after it's been cut. If you want to go through and have steel, it's like from Bauer that already has the quad profile. This is an ellipse, but if it already has the bias on it, then you move this back. So just trying to figure that out here. So what happens is it's going to go through and you hold this and you move the sledge and then you reclamp it back to where it's 20 millimeters offset. Older machine here used setting 4 here just to kind of see where the template is. It doesn't run the blade. Okay, we'll see if we can get it to run. And you can go see it touches the wheel there. You can see where the wheel spins and doesn't spin. So I can adjust the height over here so I know where it's cutting. And you use this to go through and have the, this is a 255 blade, so I've got it marked to 60% points. Got an Ellipse Zero on here. Skate size 7 to 8. It's got a 20 millimeter pitch here. That means after it's cut, the lowest point is to here. It's toward the heel region. This is the blade. This is the toe. This is toe. This is the heel. This is the heel. So we'll go ahead and let's do 2 cycles over here. So you set it to position 2. Position 3 is 10 cycles. Let's kick it on. It's an older machine. Don't have the vacuum on just so you can when that wheel's rotating, it's not cutting. When it stops, it's cutting. And the disadvantage in this machine, you're only cutting 1 blade at once. Newer machine, you cut 2 blades at once so they're matched. It's a much better system. So it's quicker when you get them matched together. This clamping mechanism only takes hockey skates and figure, but it won't take 2 blades at once in the older original machine. These are the rollers that new steel is matched up on. And so that determines the tilt when you put this in here. So when you put steel in here, it goes on those rollers, and so you don't know if the hockey blade is like this or like this with respect to the skate. And that's a problem with profiling. You want to know what the reference is. So it's easier to do it with brand new steel. Put it on the rollers and you lock this down. I'm going to go do 2 more cycles here. And you can use a higher wheel pressure by moving the weight over. Just about got that one right. blade, I don't know if it's exactly new. It's one I just happen to have laying around. It's going to try out later. It's got to do some more cutting to get a continuous cut on there. This is the speed of the traverse. It's about 3 or 4 different types of knobology. The newer one's got square buttons, and it has you can define the limits at what it travels on, how far the sledge goes back and forth. Okay, on this Ellipse Zero here, because the lowest point here is 20 millimeters to the back, which is the heel, it's cutting more down here on the original blade than in the back. So the ellipse has got the 0 point here, lowest point here is what it's cutting to. So that's why it has to cut more off the stock blade in the front. So first I wonder what was going on, but what it's doing is because it's moving his back, it's already finished in the back portion, the heel. It has just a little bit in the front that it's doing. I've got this set position 3, which is up 10 cycles back and forth. Older model doesn't really define the range, so you set this knob to go ahead and set where the roller is, but it's going to go back and forth the full traverse unless you manually hit the start-stop button over here. So the newer machine is quicker because it limits. You can limit the range of travel with the 3 lights. It's got a set of dots on there. New machine also has, you can do 2 blades at once instead of 1. So this gets problematical, how to get 2 blades to be exactly alike unless you've got start with new steel. The newer machine has got you can use an 8mm disc instead of a 6 if you want to go ahead and cut the 2 blades. I think you can do 2 blades on the new machine with a 6 too. Of course, you dress at the flat over here. You can adjust the wheel pressure higher to cut more off aggressively. Now if I go here, just about done. You can see the wheel here. Just cut a little bit there. Let's go ahead and do 2 cycles, which is 2. I should actually pencil this in. This is actually 1, 2, and 10, and that's without the grind wheel. It's an Ellipse Zero. This is the toe, this is the toe, the heel, this is the heel. You see the 0 here lines up with the pivot point for new steel. So when this is cut, the lowest point on this blade is going to be now here instead of here with the stock blade, with probably at a 9-foot radius. After cutting, it matches the template, which is here. So the lowest point is going to be below here, 20 millimeters back. Here, Ellipse Zero. And that is why if I put this blade back again in, you've got to bias it to 20 millimeters. So that's what's going on for reprofiling. We'll do 2 more here. So the wheel's continuously rolling. It means it's generally not cutting. Just kiss the wheel right there. This is for when you use a blade copy device. It has a wider piece that goes on instead of here. So what that does is this is an add-on accessory that comes with the blade copy device. When you want to put your own blade in that you like and use your blade as a template. So you can use a blade if you have a set of steel that you like, you can bolt it in the blade copy device and make a copy of it, kind of like copying a key. So that's it. So I've copied this profile of Ellipse Zero is now copied onto this blade that's held in here. So the blade here, here's the toe. It says toe. Here's the heel. This is the heel. It's got onto here. So the center of the blade was here if I line up with the zero. There it is. So I cut it from here to right through here is where I matched it up. So the machine copied the ellipse profile onto this blade. Now the new point that is the lowest point, the thickest, is right here instead of here. So if this ever gets put in the machine again, you've got to go through and put it like this, I believe, and then move the sledge over to clamp it. Because these rollers here, let me see if I can get the roll. The rollers on here define actually how this sits. That's what's really going on. So let's see if I got a banana blade here that's exaggerated. If you had to put the thing exaggerated way too much in, if it's sitting on these rollers, it's either going to be like this or like this with the skate. So if you put a skate in here, you have to ask yourself, what is the reference? So if you've got a blade that's unknown and you want to clamp this in this device here, how is this held? This holds it, but what is the reference for profiling? So the rollers on here are basically just finding a level between 2 points, and normally it's in the midpoint of a blade like this. But when it's profiled, it's moved back, and so that's why there's an offset. But when you put in a new blade in here, you've got to go through and put it on the rollers, whatever, and then bias it over this amount, and that's for a reprofiling event. It's not for new steels, what that appears to be. The blade that's been profiled here, this edge is just flat, and it's not that you still got to go through and grind the radius of hollow on there. So the stone here that I used was flat on here, ground, with this, which is the infinite radius on here, the cutter, which you move it. This, even the new machine, this position here is flat. You do the dressing, so this makes a flat stone. So this is flat across here, and to do the cut them uniform, and then you've got to go through and either they use this machine or another one, cut a radius of hollow on here, and then sharpen the blades. Of course, you got to sharpen the blades individually, even though they'll hold two at once. That's just for profiling. You got to do them individually to cut the radius of hollow.